Hey guys, Jonathan here, and today we're taking a look at every LEGO Wizard of Oz minifigure ever made, starting with the very first Wicked Witch and going all the way up through the Wicked For Good sets from 2025. Now, I'm very appreciative LEGO sent me the Wicked sets early to review, and of course that's how I'm making this video, but all of the old ones like the CMFs and LEGO Dimensions are things that I've collected on my own. So with that being said, let's take a walk down the yellow brick road and take a look at every LEGO Wizard of Oz minifigure ever made. So the first ever Wizard of Oz minifigure was actually the Wicked Witch of the West, and it came out with LEGO Dimensions, and then of course it was reused for the LEGO Batman movie of all places and came in the big giant Batmobile from the first wave of sets. Now of course this is the Wicked Witch's appearance from the original Wizard of Oz film, and I love how we've got that little spot below her, lips there, and then the big thick eyebrows, and the classic witch's hat, and just the great torso and leg print that make up this figure. It's an all-time classic now and definitely a cool one. So yeah, that's our very first Wizard of Oz minifig ever. Our next Wizard of Oz minifigures are the Flying Monkeys, which came in the Batmobile set from the LEGO Batman movie in 2017. Honestly, all these years later, it is crazy to think about the fact that we got more Wizard of Oz classic movie minifigures in a LEGO Batman set than any other theme. That's just so crazy to me. But anyways, really, really cool here. They, of course, had uniquely molded heads that are the same on both, but a different expression. One with a mischievous grin and the other with their teeth out. Now, of course, the legs here are kind of like that beast-style leg with some great printing on it, and they have identical torsos, but dual molded arms with short sleeve printing on them, and then of course a tail in the back and those matching blue arms that make for great minifigs, and these guys go for like anywhere between $80 and $90 used as of the recording of this video, so they are quite rare because not only do you need them if you're a Wizard of Oz completist, but you also need them if you're a LEGO Superheroes completist, since technically these are LEGO Batman minifigures. Yeah, that's just so crazy all these years later. In 2019, for the LEGO Movie 2, we got all of the original cast of The Wizard of Oz. I believe that they were going to try to do like a Wizard of Oz set or something like that, and then they got roped into the CMF for the LEGO Movie 2. I don't know the exact story behind that, but it is really cool that we got all of them here, and of course Dorothy and Toto are who we'll look at first. Now, these came in blind bags, so when you bought them, unless you felt through the bag to try and identify the pieces, you wouldn't really know who you were getting, which made these a little bit more tricky to obtain, since, of course, you couldn't just go to a store and buy them in a set. So Toto is really great here. It's a unique print with the eyes, and even printing on the side there that just looks so great. Then, for Ms. Dorothy here, we have an absolutely phenomenal minifig. Of course, she's got her red ruby slippers on. We have a nice textile here for the skirt of her outfit. Then, of course, the torso detail is absolutely awesome. Dual molded arms make for a great addition here. And then, of course, the hairpiece is actually kind of like rubbery, which is unique. And she has a reversible head with a shocked face on one side and, of course, a big smile on the other. So both of these are absolutely awesome inclusions and great, great minifigs all around. Going in no particular order here, up next we have the Scarecrow, and of course he's got a great print on the torso with a rope belt that goes down to the hip and even the legs, with some patches printed on the legs, a great torso print on the back as well. The head only has one side to it because of course if it had two, you would be able to see the head underneath that unique hat here, and he's got his certificate of achievement if he only had a brain. So such a great minifig and so cool to have it here for the video today. I honestly think the Tin Man might be the best of the original Wizard of Oz minifigs, just because he has so much subtle detail and definitely the most print of any of them. For example, check out those printed arms. Now, I've used those on many an Iron Man custom, but they look really good on Knights as well, as do the legs, which are really cool, that have side leg printing, which of course we know isn't all that common when it comes to LEGO, and we even have like a little bit of wear or rust printed on his toes, which is cool, and he's got a little bit of wear printed all over as we move him, and his entire body is like this silver metallic color, which is really unique. It's printed on like a silver metallic piece to begin with, but then it has this shimmer and shine to it. He's got a little printed heart piece in one hand and an axe in the other, along with a bow tie, a unique head, which you'll note has a nose printed on it, one of the very few LEGO figures ever to get a nose, and he's got that tin piece on his head, which is so cool, and once again, makes him probably the best minifig of the original lineup, and I might argue the best minifig of the entire Wizard of Oz collection, but I'll leave that to you guys to decide in the comments. And finally, we have the Cowardly Lion, the last traditional Wizard of Oz minifigure we would get from the original movie, and the final one to talk about from that 2019 CMF series. He's got his courageous badge right here, which is awesome, and he has a minimalistic print. I mean, I don't really know how much more you need to print on the Cowardly Lion, but as we lift up his unique molded headpiece here, he actually does have a reversible head, which is super cool and makes for such an awesome minifig. I absolutely love this one, and it is a favorite, but I'm a little biased because I love all of these minifigs and think they all look so good. Alright, now we're jumping forward 6 years in time to 2025, where we're now getting Wicked minifigures, just in time for Wicked for Good. Of course, first we'll start with Glinda here, and both minifigures utilize this very unique dress piece that allows for her to have an absolutely huge and sprawling dress, which works really great for both versions of the figure. The one on the left comes in the Glinda and Elphaba bookend set, while the one on the right comes in the Emerald City wall art set. Now, both are really great minifigures. They use the same crown, hair, and headpiece. The only real difference between the two are the dresses. Personally, I like the pink one a little bit more. When I think of Glinda, I'm always thinking of like that pink dress, so I think that works a little bit better, but overall, both minifigs are really awesome, and I think that they translate so well. Now here we have both versions of Elphaba, which are really awesome. Of course, this one comes in the bookend set, and this one comes in the Emerald City wall art. Both depict different outfits for her, but both are really great representations. Of course, that hairpiece and hat combo is super cool, the way that it's molded, and both heads are exactly the same, although I'm showing opposite sides on both sides so you can see everything there, and these are really great. I did choose to include the accessories for the bookends one, which of course is her broom and a brick-built grimoire, which is pretty fun as well. Now, I think it's only fair to do a comparison where we can and compare her to her original version from The Wizard of Oz. Now, of course, these are played by different actresses across almost 100 years of cinema history, so it's hard to do a one-to-one comparison per se, since it would almost be like comparing like a recast of somebody in Marvel or something like that, but it is really cool to see all of this representation for the Green Wicked Witch of the West, Elphaba, and to see all of the awesomeness that's transpired over nearly 100 years of movie history. We'll do a 2-in-1 here just to keep things moving and grooving, and of course, this is Fiyero as well as Fanny, both of which come in the bookend set, and they both have very nice torso printing, new torsos for both, and a new head for Fanny, and the return of the Superman Curl S-piece, which hasn't been in a LEGO set since 2020 with Superman. It would have been nice to get that on Superman earlier this year, but I'll try to keep my superhero talk to a minimum since we are here for the Wizard of Oz universe. And overall, I think both figures are great, but honestly, probably toward the bottom of the totem pole, but probably ranked toward the bottom of the best minifigures here, just because they are some of the only ones that don't have any kind of leg print or detailing, and in Fiyero's case, the only new piece is the torso, and of course, for Fanny, he does have a new head and a new torso, but once again, these are the least detailed figures of the entire lineup. Here we have Madame Morrible, who comes in the bookend set, and she does have a little book of her own that we can open up with a sticker print on the inside, but I do really like her dress and the astral printing on it, kind of referencing her weather control powers in the movie, and she's new from head to toe. New hair, head, torso, and skirt piece, and she does have a reversible head as well, and that new hairpiece and head are going to be great for making customs from other movie universes, but overall, I think that this is an absolutely phenomenal minifig, and super cool to have in the first place. And here we have the Wizard of Oz, aka Jeff Goldblum. Yes, yes, Jeff Goldblum. I am the Wizard of Oz. I can't help but do a Goldblum impression anytime I'm talking about one of his minifigs. This is a phenomenal minifigure. He's got doll molded legs with dark green boots, and then that awesome print that makes his jacket look like it's, a long trench coat, as well it should. And it's just a great minifig all around. Honestly, if you swap out the head and hands, this could be a great basis for a Mad Hatter custom from DC. I can't help it but talk about superheroes, guys. It's literally in my name, but a great minifig, and this one comes in the bookend set, as many of the figures from this series do. Now, as we visit the original Wizard of Oz characters, I thought it would be fun to show the original versions from the CMF next to the ones from the Emerald City wall art set. Now, of course, these are played by different actors and actresses across almost 100 years, so kind of like the Wicked Witch and Elphaba, it's more so just for the neatness of being able to show these side by side than saying which one is better, because they are completely different representations of the characters and even their costumes and interpretations. That being said, it's nice that both Dorothy's got doll molded arms, and both of them are relatively rare color combos too, so that's really cool. It is fascinating to me that the new Dorothy does have doll molded legs as well, and a slipper print there, which is nice. They both use the same hairpiece, basically. I think they just brought back the original one for the new hairpiece, although it very well could be a new hairpiece since it was 6 years removed, and LEGO tends to only keep pieces for 5 years, but they look close enough to me, other than, of course, the bow ties being different colors, and, of course, the new one does have a reversible head, and I think it's neat that the expressions on both are very similar, although again, different interpretations. I will say the original Toto is so much better than the one from the 2025 set, because this is the piece that LEGO uses for their German Shepherds, and Toto is very clearly not a German Shepherd puppy in the new movie, so that is a bit of an odd choice. I think LEGO was just like, well, this is the mold we have for small brown dogs, so that's what we're going to use. I get it from a LEGO production standpoint, but from a movie accuracy standpoint, it's pretty bad. Now up next we have the Scarecrow. Again, very different interpretations of the figure, so it is hard to go ahead and compare them side by side, but the new one is quite cool. He's got that hairpiece, and unlike the original, has a reversible head, which is cool, and I really like what they did, putting the Admiral piece on the shoulder there. It kind of makes him look extra hay-like, and of course that torso looks really great too. Awesome leg print, and great print on the back, kind of having the wheat printed on there. Really, really like it, and it is cool to see both side by side. Now here's the Tin Man, or should I say the Tin Men? I'm not sure. But the original one has way more print detail, but the new one has a lot of subtleties to it too, better printing on the back, I would say, as far as detail, but that's not to say that the original one isn't accurate to what it was representing. So once again, these are a little hard to compare, but the new one has great printing on the torso, the legs, and very, very fascinating, all the little emblems printed on there. I'm curious if that'll be explained in the movie or not, but really, really cool, having the little box over his heart there, and really great minifigs all around, utilizing some of the same classic pieces you would expect, while also carving out their both unique interpretations across both. And here we have the Lion, which has got to be the craziest comparison because we went from a minifigure to a brand new animal mold. Of course, this is super accurate for what we're seeing in Wicked for Good, which, I think everybody should be excited about, but these are basically impossible to compare. So I'll show them side by side and then just kind of talk about the new Lion mold. It's hollow out in the center, and it is an absolutely beautiful piece that could just be used in a zoo or a safari type set. So it is really, really cool. But yeah, love this one. Great, great piece. And by this point in time in the video, you'll have noticed that I didn't include any of the mini dolls because I did say this is a minifigure comparison, and while a lot of people would consider the mini dolls minifigures, I would probably agree with that. I just think that it's more interesting to look at the minifigures. I'm sure somebody else will do a video about all the mini dolls, but I'm a minifigure collector here, so that's what we're focusing on. That being said, I am breaking my rule on that for the very final one because we did get a mini doll version of the Flying Monkey, which actually has a removable wing piece here. And as you'll see, this monkey flew off the base because he doesn't stand on there very well. But I did just want to show these side by side. Very different interpretations, just just like the lion, but still really cool to see them side by side. So with that being said, let's bring the video to a close. All right, guys, let me know what you thought of this video and how many of these you have. I think that Wizard of Oz has been represented awesome throughout its history here in LEGO, and I really, really love all of these minifigures. So let me know what you guys think. Be sure to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.